Hello viewers, Organization and Management of Early Childhood Care and Education Centers. Under this, today we are dealing with the topic planning, implementation, monitoring and evaluation of the ECCE programs. Objective. The objective of this lesson is to understand the planning and implementation of early childhood education programs, to know about the monitoring techniques and goals, and to understand what is evaluation, the need, importance and goals of evaluation. Module 1, Introduction. All programs in early childhood education are not equally effective in promoting the learning and development of young children. The overall effectiveness of an early childhood program is depending on several factors like the quality of the staff, the suitable environment, appropriate grouping practices, consistent schedules and parent involvement. Decisions about these factors are often made early in the planning and organizing process of an early childhood program. Let us have a look at planning and implementing of early childhood education programs. The early childhood education should include some of the activities. The first one is the free and structured play. For example of this is the sand play. The storytelling and story making. For this, the example can be a water play. Dramatization through puppets, rhymes and songs. The circle or the group games and activities come under this rhymes and songs activity. Music and movement. For this, different type of rhymes can be given for the child. The structured cognitive and language activity, another important activity of a early childhood program. Free indoor play, for example with the puzzles, beads and the play material will be helping the child. Another type of activity which we can offer through early childhood education program is nature walks and outdoor play activities, which includes the field trips also. Planning is vital for implementing the playway method. Planning in terms of specific objectives and activities should be done both on a long term and also on short term basis. By long term, it is meant drawing up a plan for full year as well as for each term. The short term planning means drawing up a weekly plan which includes objectives and specific activities for each of the days of week, while the full year plan should be drawn up at the beginning of the academic year. The weekly plan could be prepared on the last day of each week on regular basis. Each day program must be planned so as it reflects a balance of the individual and group activities, the balance between outdoor and indoor activities, balance between the active and quiet activities, the free and structured or guided activities, and a balance should be found between the activities to foster all the aspects of development. Each week's program should be maintained in a diary and should have been evaluated in terms of achievement of objectives laid out for that week. The subsequent week's program should be based on this evaluation. The projects specified for the term could be provided the theme for the weekly planning. All the activities planned for the week in that case should be as far as possible related to specific theme. The early childhood education programs should be flexible, flexibility so that it can accommodate the immediate needs and situations. For example, the teacher has planned to do an activity on the topic air, while the children want to be told a story. The teacher should be able to remodel her planning within the context of her objective. So, these are the some of the programs that can be planned in early childhood education programs. Now, let us have a look at the playway method. Module 2, Playway method. The characteristic features of the Playway method is alternating between the large and small group activities. While many activities, for example like the storytelling, puppet play, etc., can be conducted in large group, several free play or creative or structured cognitive activities should be given in small groups. For example, a structured language or number activity, while the other groups can simultaneously work on activities which children can do on their own. For example, free play, puzzles, creative activities, etc. The groups can later be rotated to give the different experiences to all the children. The program for early childhood education should be planned keeping in mind both the age as well as the developmental levels of the children. The ECE worker has to take up 3 to 6 years old together. She could divide the children into age wise groups, particularly when the reading and writing activities or the readiness activities and the cognitive activities are being offered. Storytelling, rhymes, puppet play, conversation, these kind of activities can be done in large groups. Mixed grouping of the children belonging to different ages groups can also be done. In this kind of grouping, the children who are at a higher level of development can help the others. The things to be reminding while planning and conducting activities. The first point is to proceed from a concrete to abstract, from familiar to unfamiliar, from simple to complex. All the activities as far as possible should be planned in a sequences like real life experiences through manipulating the materials for representation. Module 3, Monitoring. Monitoring means a systematic and organized way of assessing the quality of work at regular intervals. It is provision of information to enable the management to assess the progress of implementation and take timely decisions to ensure the quality. Goals. Goals are required to ensure the inputs, work schedules and outputs are proceeding according to the program plan. It is necessary to provide a record of input, use, activities and results, and to warn of any deviations from initial goals and expected outcomes. Techniques. Direct techniques. These are those where the monitoring is done at a actual field work. It provides the first hand information and it is the most reliable source of information. Indirect technique. These are those information that is obtained from secondary sources. For example, interviewing the parents, the community leaders, group discussions, meetings, scrutinizing the daily diary or any other records. In addition to direct and indirect technique, there are other techniques also that helps in monitoring. These include the sophisticated techniques generally used by the higher officials to monitor the work and also to train the field workers in developing the skills necessary for efficient functioning of the program. For example, the workshops, the project level or the sector level meetings, coordination meetings and conferences. So, after having understood what is the program planning and how effectively we can plan the programs in an early childhood education program, and after having understood the characteristics in a Playway method of early childhood education program and how to monitor the early childhood education program, now let us have a look at evaluating the programs of early childhood education. Module 4, Evaluation. Evaluation, it is the process of determining the degree to which the children's needs are met and desired objectives are achieved. The need and importance of evaluation. Evaluation is required to check the effectiveness and quality of the program, to check to what extent the desired objectives are achieved, to identify the highlights and drawbacks of the program, to measure the program in terms of the quality, the cost benefit ratio of the program process, to facilitate the decision making by the policy makers and higher officials, to demonstrate to the management and others the impact of the program. Evaluation is a part of the report requirement and the documentation of the work done. Evaluation feedback helps the teachers to receive the objective data, more self-confidence, strengths and weaknesses. Evaluation, it identifies the procedural defects and helps to determine corrective actions. Evaluation helps in revision and validation of the program objectives, the materials and strategies. It provides justification for expenditure on the project and it promotes greater efficiency in budget allocation. The goals. The goal of evaluation is to give the student teachers a valid assessment of the level of their performance through specific descriptive feedback. It allows the suggestions and helpful ideas that help the student teachers acquire skills. It creates the positive attitude towards the self improvement and self knowledge and to maintain the student of the teaching profession. So, after having seen the importance of evaluation and the goals of evaluation, let us have a look at the different types of evaluations. Module 5 types. The first one is the formal evaluation. Formal evaluation includes the checklist, commercial test, performance registers and the questionnaires. Informal observations. In informal observations, the casual observations, interviewing the parents and other members are included. Self-evaluation. The self-evaluation will be done by the teacher or the participant herself. Evaluation of children in early childhood education programs. The evaluation provides answers to queries like, are the children gaining appropriate skills and behavior? It answers the questions like, in what activities does learning take place and what part of the program supports the special learning and is the school philosophy being met or the educational goals being met. The clear purposes for assessing children. Why we need to assess the children? It establishes a baseline information about each child by which we can judge their future progress. To monitor the growth of individual child and identify the children with special needs. Evaluation will help us in systematic planning for intervention and guidance for the children. Evaluation will help us to plan developmentally appropriate curriculum and communicating the updated information to parents and to their child. The program evaluation is for the accountability and providing information for making administrative decisions. After evaluation of the student comes the evaluation of teachers. The evaluation of teachers will be helpful to describe the job responsibilities, to monitor the job effectiveness, to clarify the strengths and weaknesses, to set professional growth goals and to determine employment. Evaluation of programs. Evaluation of programs is very much important so that it helps us to establish the accountability, to make improvements and to acquire accreditations. Guidelines for program evaluation. How can we evaluate a early childhood education program? We can evaluate the program by defining the objectives, by choosing a tool and checking whether the developmental appropriate process and practices are followed. A good early childhood education program is planned from the viewpoint of the whole child in the immediate setting. The value of the child's health, happy and responding secure approach. The program should provide for the emotional growth of the child. It should balance the activities of active and quiet activities. It should provide appropriate opportunities for the children to grow in a self direction and independence. It should help to develop self discipline. It should be challenging to the child's intellectual powers. It should provide a media for self expression. The program should encourage the child's verbal expressions and to learn about their own self. The program should provide opportunities for each child to the use of the whole body in a daily period of outdoor activities. So, these are some of the areas where we can check the programs. Then comes evaluating the environment. The safe surroundings and protection against hazards and dangers. Environment evaluation helps us to have good health practices, safe and nutritious food, basic sanitation, safe drinking water. And next comes the environmental evaluation in terms of accessibility of the material and aesthetically pleasing surroundings. Assessment of children and learning objectives. In this, the children will be assessed in the following questions like whether the children are observed regularly, or the assessments carried out on individual basis, monitored and recorded, or the assessments discussed with the parents, and whether the children with special needs are supported. After having understood what is evaluation and what are the different types of evaluation, let us have a look at the quality indicators. Module 6, Quality Indicators. The indicators of a quality for staff. The staff should have the knowledge of child development and professionalism. Staff should have the knowledge on planning the developmentally appropriate programs. The staff or the teacher should be positive and appreciative attitude towards the children, sensitive to the child's feelings, respect the children as individuals irrespective of their race, gender or religion. The teacher should have a mutual respect and acceptance. She should be happy and feel respected as individuals. The teacher should have a positive relationship with their colleagues and non-threatening acceptance of the child's feelings. The teacher should be orderliness, systematic and methodical, accepts the children's ideas and exploration. She should be stimulating, imaginative and conversationalist. The teacher should be warm and flexible and be trained in assessment procedures. The teacher should be emotionally responsive, committed and humorous. The teacher and the staff should feel adequate, trustworthy, wanted, reliable and dependable. They should exhibit the team spirit and empathy and should have a clarity of roles and be self-awareness. These are some of the indicators of a quality staff. Now, let us have a look at the indicators of quality of family or community perspective. The services are open to every child and generally accessible in terms of transport, should be friendly and supportive teaching and management staff. The staff are objective and non-judgmental. No evidence of discrimination according to the gender, race or religion. Adequate information to the parents about the progress of the child. They should be flexible and about the start and finish time. View all the parents are sought and taken into account. The parents on the managing body of the project. The program should reflect the goals of the local community, and the local people are allowed to visit the center, and children are involved in any of the local festivals. These are a good quality indicators in community perspective. Indicators of effectiveness. The evaluation is used for continuous improvement. Goals become guides for evaluation. comprehensive goals are used, evaluation uses valid designs, multiple sources of data should be available, sampling should be used when assessing the children, standardized tests are a part of evaluation, and changes gates over time are emphasized. Well trained individual should contact and conduct the evaluations. Evaluation results should be publicly shared. These are the quality indicators of effectiveness of early childhood education programs. So, today we have understood the different kinds of program planning, how effectively we can plan the early childhood education programs. We also understood the monitoring, the importance and the goals of monitoring, and why monitoring is helpful in effective early childhood education programs. And then we have understood why evaluation is important and what are the different types of evaluation. And after that, we also learned about the quality indicators. The quality indicators for the staff, for the school environment in the terms of community perspective, and indicators of effective early childhood education programs. Hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you.